Good evening, everybody. Today is Sunday, April 30th, 2023, about to go into May. And this is going to be the forecast for the upcoming week for what Bitcoin's price could potentially do. So what we'll do is we'll start out with the monthly chart. So right now, each one of these candles is 1 month worth of data. As you can see, again, this is the run up from 2021, so on and so forth. We have come down here. We have touched this is the 100 moving average, exponential moving average. So it takes into account the most recent price more so than the simple moving average would. But at this point, like price, we're sitting right here at roughly $30,000, right? So what we can see is price is above all of the moving averages that we have so far. So the 50 moving average, the 100 moving average, and then the 200 will appear when 200 months have gone by. But with Bitcoin, we haven't had that just yet. All of crypto, we haven't even had 200 months yet. So we'll take a look here. As we can see, we broke monthly structure here. We broke monthly structure here, and it looks like the next place that we're going to break is somewhere around here. At least on the monthly chart, if we're talking about monthly structure, is somewhere around $48,000. Moving down to the weekly chart, we see a lot of the same action going on. So again, we broke structure here at 21,000. We broke structure here at 25,000. And 25,000 is really the point for me, at least, where I started to believe that we were going to be in a bull market. Because again, like breaking structure on a weekly chart is significant. The higher the time frame that you have, the more significant that a structural break is going to be. So the next place that we can see on the weekly chart is going to be somewhere around 30,000, right? So this range right here, so anywhere between 29,000 and 32,000 roughly. Right now, where we're at, we had this major push up in March, and then like we've kind of been dancing around this area ever since. I knew that 30,000 was going to be a pretty contested area because, again, number one, it's a round number. It is a place where people, it's a psychological number. People are taking profits here. It's a round number. As humans, we're very much so, drawn to these whole numbers like 30,000, 25,000, 50,000, blah, blah, blah. So like the fact that we've been kind of in a range for the past several weeks has not been, it's not been unsurprising at all. I think in the near future, we're going to do one of two things. We will pull back either down to here, down to 21. I don't see that being super likely because you'd have to break a lot of structure to do that on lower time frames. Or we're just going to keep ranging for a little while before going up finally to probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 36, 37,000. So going down to the daily chart, again, you can kind of see that we're still above all the moving averages here. We had this big drop here this is like in March or so. This is, again, Silicon Valley Bank. We ranged for a little while, as I talked about this last week, but we had some type of consolidation here. And then finally a breakout. Breakout to the upside, we tried to, get past 30. We got up to about 31,000, but couldn't break that. Again, I'm still looking for 31,000, about 500 before I'm really a believer that we're going to continue that way. Saw a major sell-off. That is to be expected. Again, we couldn't contest this area. So, the Bulls couldn't contest this area, so they had to come back down. As you can see, we're very much so respecting this 50 moving average right here, right? Kind of danced around here for a while, and then we started making this upswing back to the upside, right? Got here. At this point, the only thing that I can see is this is the start of last week. So we came down, bounced perfectly, and then came back up. My prediction at this point is that we look up a little bit. We have a couple areas that we could come to. If I zoom out, I think the next area that we'll end up going to is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 31,000. So as you can see, we kind of came up here. We did put in a little bit of, there was a battle here, came back down, and now we haven't even been able to pretty much violate 30,000 for the past several days. So if we zoom in here, the worst case scenario, and even the worst case scenario isn't that bad in my opinion. We come back down to this is about 20,000. Um, but again, kind of like I talked about last week, that would take a lot. It would take a lot to do that. This is going to be a daily demand zone. Yeah, that's fine. So we could come back down here potentially. Again, at this point, since it's respecting the 50 moving average so far, it's definitely going to respect the 100 moving average, and it's definitely going to respect the 200 moving average. So I think we are officially done with ever seeing a $20,000 Bitcoin again. It's just not. Again, the higher the time frame that you go up, the more unlikely it is that you're going to violate these moving averages. So at this point, like on the weekly chart, it looks like 24,000 is about the lowest that you can go. On the monthly chart, that says that's roughly 17, but I don't think we'll even go down there. We'll just assume that this is going to respect that moving average there. So it's like, okay, 17 potentially there. You could go down to about 24, which pretty much lines up with the weekly chart as well. But going back down to the daily average, again, right now, we are at 30,000 roughly. What is this price? 29,300 we're at. I think we're still going to see a lot more dancing around over the next week or so. So we could easily come back up here and come back down to the moving average or even down to the 100 moving average. And that is going to be like, a trampoline to come back up. And then you could see some of this, again, some more dancing action, and then a breakout to the upside. Let's see. There we go. That's ugly, but who cares? The other thing that we could do is we could just continue to meander around here, just continuing to range for a little while. Now, obviously, it's not going to go out this far. It will break 30,000 sooner than later, and then eventually, you come out. The last thing that we could do, in my opinion, is we could come down here to the 100 moving average, and then we'll see a little bit of movement in that space. Let's take this. We're here. We just come immediately down to the 100 moving average, so 25,000. I do find this to be rather unlikely. And we could just, dance around here for a little bit, come back up to 30,000, dance around here for a bit, and then come up. So, again, with these things, there's no guarantee. These are all predictions and whatnot. I find this to be the least likely scenario of us coming down here and then coming back up. What I do find to be the most likely scenario is that we continue to range. So this blue line right here, this blue path, if we continue to range in that direction, then I think that we will eventually break out. But again, all my predictions are to the upside at this point. The downside predictions, they are valid, but I don't see them being as likely as the upside predictions. There's a lot of very strong energy, economic energy pushing it to the upside. So the bulls are definitely, in my opinion, in control over the coming days and coming weeks. So as you can see here, the other thing that we look at too is like the price is well above the moving average. All of the moving averages on the daily candles, on the daily chart, I should say. So it's above the 200, it's above the 100, it's above the 50. If we go to the weekly chart, it is above the 200, it's above the 50, it's above the 100. So we're still, prices right here. And then if we look at the monthly as well, let's take a look here. Price is well above the 100 moving average, and it's above the 50 moving average. So everywhere that you look, it is above there. Now, if you go to lower time frames, you may get a different story. But at this point, we're more so concerned about the high time frames because that is going to give you a more accurate representation of what we're looking at. So, again, I think this should be a pretty exciting week. We'll go up to potentially 30,000. I think the next place that we'll stop after that is going to be 37,000, somewhere in this area. So probably about here. You do that. Okay. Yeah, so that's about 40,000. You may see another stop somewhere around here. I think we'll definitely stop before that. 40,000 or so. Yeah. So I think the next place that we'll stop after breaking out of 31,000, somewhere around 37,500. And then we'll do, some more evaluation at this point. But if we do see a breakout from here, it'll, in my opinion, price will probably skyrocket to about 37,000, and we'll go from there. So this has been the weekly forecast. So I hope you all have enjoyed so far, and we will continue to do this. So y'all have a great week, and let's get it.